So on this episode of the show, what we're going to talk about is sort of how we think about passenger flow and fleet optimization to make the guest experience better. Just on location at a Palm Springs wedding, and this exact incident occurred where the fleet was ordered and purchased, but it really didn't have any bearing on what the guests were doing. So for instance, at the end of a rehearsal dinner, either there could be a hard stop and everybody could come out at once, in which case a certain fleet mix would work, or people could trickle out. In this particular case, there was people from Israel and they were jet lagged, and so they left early, and then there were elderly people and they left whenever they felt like it, and then there was younger people who were staying and partying and so on. And so if you just listen to what I said, you can't have the exact same fleet for all of that unless you have tons of fleet, and that's not really good from a budgetary perspective. So the way that we like to think about it is analyze when people are going to be coming out and what quantity of people you might expect. And then we'll have a variety of vehicles staged. And in this particular case, we had to design a closer staging area so that it wasn't 20 minutes away from where the rehearsal dinner was being kept, because at the end of the night, nobody wants to wait 20 minutes. And since there's no standing in many of these locations, or you don't want a fleet of vehicles parked in front of the private residence or the club or on the street in New York City, you have to find a good staging area, and that's one of the things that we encourage everyone to do. Think about where the fleet is going to stage and how big the fleet is and how big the staging area is required. And then you design a mix of vehicles that you can call up as appropriate. So you might have a 55-passenger motor coach. You may have a 28-passenger minibus. You may have a 14-passenger Sprinter. You may have an SUV. We're big fans of mixing and matching. I know it requires a little bit more effort. It may require working with multiple vendors, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, we're producing world-class events and weddings, so like a little bit more effort is warranted. And so as a result of that, when people are exiting the big tent or the whatever, if there's just a few of them, you call up the SUV. If there's a whole host and there's just a ton of people that come out at once and the staging area is close by, you take all of these people and you put them in the motor coach. Again, not rocket science, but I can't tell you how infrequently we actually see this little bit of energy and effort put into production. And if you're these folks, the last thing you want to do is sit on a 55-passenger bus waiting for 53 other people to come. That could take 5 minutes, that could take 10 minutes, that could take an hour. So, as a thoroughly designed plan, just incorporate a mix of fleet, call in the right fleet. You have to have somebody who's on location. We're going to talk about that, an on-site coordinator who's knowledgeable and knows what to do and how to do it, but it's really easy. They can gauge the flow, how many people are coming, and with walkie-talkie or cell phone, contact the right chauffeur and have them pull the right vehicle ahead, and bingo. It's really, really simple. You have a ton of really happy guests. No one's waiting for anybody else. Simple as that.